Hi everyone, my name is Robin Kerber and I'm the Farm and Seed to School Coordinator with the Maine Department of Education Child Nutrition Program. And today I'm going to be demonstrating one of our new Harvest of the Month recipes for tomatoes, and it's for Chef Sam's Tuscan white bean salad. So this is a wonderful way to utilize some fresh tomatoes. It's a really simple salad that comes together. We're just going to saute up some aromatics, some garlic, some onion, chop up some fresh tomatoes, some fresh local parsley, and mix that together with some white beans and call it good. So let's get started on the onion. I've got a red onion here. And these new recipes that we've developed, we have 2 sheets, and one of them has the school yield, which is about 50 or 60 servings, and then the other one has an at-home yield, which is about 8 servings. So the idea here is that these recipes can be used in schools, and then they can also be used in home kitchens. So if children are trying them at home with mom and dad, they're more likely to try them when they see them in our school cafeterias. So we are going to chop up half of a cup of red onion. I'm just going to do like a rough chop here. Maybe like 1/2 inch pieces. And the trick to not crying while you're chopping an onion, definitely have a really, really sharp chef knife. And then if you alternate between wearing contacts and glasses, definitely wear contacts because that little protective barrier will really help. This onion's not too bad, so not worried about it. I'm going to throw that right into our saucepan. And then the recipe calls for 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. So this time of year, it's early September, you can definitely find local garlic. Usually garlic is harvested in Maine, I would say mid-August. It really just depends on the season, but usually that's when farmers are pulling up the garlic. So by now it's been nicely cured in barns and greenhouses, and you can find some pretty great local garlic. And a tablespoon, depending on the size of the cloves, we're going to do about 2 cloves. I like garlic anyway, so never afraid to use too much garlic. And if you don't have fresh garlic, you can also use garlic powder. That would be fine too. For a tablespoon of fresh garlic, I would use probably 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. All right. Just going to give that I'm going to do thin slices on my garlic. You can also mince it, you can grate it, doesn't really matter. I kind of like to see the pretty thin slices of garlic. Add that there. And then we're going to add 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And I'm going to get this going over medium-low heat until those onions start to become a little bit translucent. They're never going to be totally translucent because they're the red onion, but we're going to cook that down and then assemble the rest of our salad. The next step is we've got a couple local Roma tomatoes, and we're just going to slice the ends off, and then just do we'll call it a small dice. So I'm going to quarter it. And Roma tomatoes or plum tomatoes, they're often kind of like oblong in shape, and they're really meaty. There's a lot of flesh. There's not a lot of seeds. If you were to squeeze this, you wouldn't get a lot of juice. as you might from like a big beefsteak tomato. So they're often used in tomato sauce because they really hold up well. They have a great texture, and they'll hold up really well in this salad too. So we're looking at, for this quantity, 1/2 pound. I'm just gonna chop. I could even probably be using a regular non-serrated chef knife because these are so firm that they're not gonna just squish. Looks pretty good. And then I've also got, this is 2 cans of beans that I have. These are Great Northern beans that I've rinsed out, and you really want to rinse your beans because obviously if they're coming from a can, they have a ton of, it's really the starch in the beans, but it's not desirable. It's kind of like sloppy, slimy, mucusy. You want to drain all that out. Plus, there's a lot of sodium in that, and you want to control the amount of salt in your recipes for nutrition-wise, but then also for flavor. You want to make sure that you know exactly how much salt is going in. So it's important to really rinse out those canned beans. We're going to add our tomatoes to that. And then we've got some beautiful fresh local parsley that I have already cleaned. And we're looking for 2 tablespoons, so not a whole lot. Parsley is a pretty strong flavored herb, so it goes a long way. We're going to use most of the stem, not all of it. Just do a rough chop. So this is the Tuscan white bean salad. So we've got a lot of Italian flavors going on here. Parsley is really, really popular in Italian cuisine. Of course, these white beans are often in Italian dishes as well. I'm going to add that. And then we're going to add some seasoning here. So it calls for 1 teaspoon of salt. Sprinkle that in. Have a teaspoon of black pepper. And that's it. And so behind me, we still have our onions and garlic cooking. So I'm going to go check on that. And if it's ready, I'm going to add it to our salad. So here we have our red onion, garlic, and olive oil that's been cooking down. It's nice and tender, nice and sweet. And we're going to add that. And it's hot, so I'm not letting that cool or anything because I want that oil to sort of saturate the rest of our salad ingredients here. I'm just going to give that a toss. And this looks great. So this is another one of those salads that is going to benefit from a little bit of time in the fridge. So I'm going to wrap this up in some plastic, pop it in the fridge, and then tomorrow before I serve it, I'm going to give it a taste, and I'm going to see, does it need more salt, more pepper? Could it benefit from anything else? And if so, I will adjust accordingly. But that's good to go. So that is the Chef Sam's Tuscan white bean salad.